my brother Ed Hart. Let's give him a hand, folks. My big Laker guy, too.
And for those of you standing, go ahead, come in and take the seats, please. Thank you.
So Fiona made all those comments about banks, so we're going to bring some bankers up here to have a little rebuttal to her comments about banks. So appreciate the opportunity to be here and to represent the banking community here in Orange County. Jay and I sat down about 2.5 years ago when he shared this idea for the SBDN with me and a few others, and to look at 400 people registered today in this room pack. A couple times I've taken pictures and sent them to Jay today. I say, dude, look what you've done. So let's give a hand to Jay for this idea. All right, with that, I'd like to invite up to the panel up here from Wells Fargo Bank, Tim Nguyen, from U.S. Bank, Paul Horvat, from Commercial Bank of California, Erica Osorio, from Genesis Bank, Emil Aaron, and then from CDC Loans, Iman Cotton. So please help me welcome these panelists up here today. Yeah, we rehearsed a lot too. So, we've got, they're all trying to figure out where to sit. So. Yeah, left to right? Everybody got the email I sent at midnight last night. Very good. Sometimes we can only prepare at midnight. So, all right, so what I'll do is just, first of all, again, Ed Hart from First Bank. I've been there a couple of years. We are a privately held, family-owned bank, 114-year-old bank, fourth generation, headquartered out in St. Louis. My office is here in Newport Beach. And our specialty is really in family-owned businesses, privately held businesses, and nonprofits. So from startups all the way through multi-generational family businesses. So with that, why don't we start right here. Tim, why don't you tell us your name, your title, your bank, and then maybe just if there's a specialty that you have within your bank. Hold the talk I heard earlier today.
Oh.
There you go. Good.
My name is Tim Tinh Nguyen. I'm a Senior Assistant Vice President for Business Relationship Manager for Wells Fargo Bank. I'm also Vice Chair for Vietnamese American Chamber of Commerce. All business for the bank, people business with relationship. We're here to build relationship and help you grow to the next level. That's why we're here.
Awesome. Thank you. Paul?
Good morning, everyone. My name is Paul Horvat. I'm a business banking relationship manager with U.S. Bank. What Jay put up there on the screen is pretty cool because I kind of made some notes for this panel today. And, our specialty at U.S. Bank is powering our customers' potential through financial knowledge. And I can't think of another place to go all in one day to get the information that you guys have received today. So it's pretty awesome, and we're just glad to be invited and part of it. Thanks.
Thanks, Paul. Erica?
Hi, everyone. My name is Erica Osorio. I'm with Commercial Bank of California, the largest Latino-owned banks in California. Very proud of that. I'm the Vice President of Treasury Services and about to celebrate 20 years with the bank, so very
Nice.
proud of that. Our focus is, again, small businesses, so we're here to help and support the community. We understand that that is the core for our community, so that's what we want to support. Thank you.
Thanks, Erica. Emil?
Good morning, everyone. Emil Aaron. I am Senior Vice President, Head of Community Impact at Genesis Bank. I also have the good fortune of being the president of our Genesis for Good Foundation. We empower entrepreneurs. That is what we do day in and day out. I am an entrepreneur, so the opportunity to work with entrepreneurs and really help them get from where they're at to where they want to be. So to grow, scale, create jobs, and have a positive impact on the community.
Thanks, Mel. Iman, now you have a slightly different role than the other 5 of us up here.
I do, but
All
I
right.
come from the same territory as you guys as far as being a branch manager, a business banker, and it is uberly refreshing for me to say I am a loan officer with CDC Small Business Finance. CDC is a certified development company. We specialize in startup businesses, existing businesses, and acquisitions. And when I say startup businesses, I mean 0 days in business projection based. And what sets us apart from your traditional financial institution, or as Fiona mentioned, the government finances, we have less stringent requirements than your traditional financial institution.
Awesome. Now, I heard a stat earlier today that we have about 70,000 thoughts every day. And then the next stat I heard was 90 to 95% of those thoughts are the same as yesterday. So my hope is that today with this panel, that your thoughts about banking might shift just a little bit, okay? Again, the rebuttal to Fiona earlier, but that was just a joke. But again, the resources that are out there, this conference is so great because there's so many resources out there for all of us as business owners and leaders. And if you come away from this panel with just one idea on how you might be able to access some of the capital that's out there for you, then this panel right here is a success. And make sure you walk up and approach us and get our cards and talk to us after. So I'm going to start, Iman, back with you. Talk about how you really, I mean, you all mentioned it kind of as you kicked off and you introduced yourselves, but how do you really work with those small entrepreneurs, the ones that are getting started? Talk maybe about that first conversation that you have with them that just kind of gets them fired up about whatever the next steps might be.
For sure. So because I come from the traditional banking background, being with CDC, like I mentioned, it's uberly refreshing for me because it's kind of like old school Linden. It's like, oh, come on in, tell me your name, and what do you do? And tell me more. Do you have children? How'd you get into the business? So you're selling yourself. When you have a conversation with any banker, with any lender, ultimately, at whatever level you're at, you're selling yourself and what you actually do. So I love CDC Small Business Finance. I don't know if I mentioned, we are the top lender in California, Arizona, and Nevada for the Community Advantage Program, which is a 7A loan program. So it's more so relationship and understanding what your business is, just as any other financial institution also, but we have different requirements and different approach that makes it less stringent than your traditional financial institution. So for instance, a startup, as long as you have the ability to cover your personal living expenses and the minimum payments reporting on your credit report, will give you the business loan up to $350,000 simply based on your business plan and 24 months of financial projection. You guys heard what I said?
Right?
Bankers, did you hear me?
Yeah.
Yes. So 0 days in business, projection-based, a startup business, as long as you have the ability to cover your personal living expenses for your household and cover the minimum payments reporting on your credit report, will give you the business loan based on your business plan and 24 months of financial projections. Of course, you also have to have liquidity, and we want you to invest in yourself before we invest in you, just like any other financial institution, but that's what sets us apart. And
Awesome.
for existing business, we only have a 1-to-1 debt coverage ratio, or basically how much money or net income do you need for every dollar in debt. We only require $1 in net income for every dollar in debt. So it makes it a little more easier to get approved also.
Now you're a CDFI, and most of us don't know what that means. Can you explain
For sure.
that?
So CDC Small Business Finance, we're actually a CDC. We're a certified development company. There are more than 260 CDCs in the country. We also are a CDFI with Capital Impact Partners. Capital Impact Partners is our certified development financial institution who works on projects more so like building this complex that we're in, or building a school or a hospital, or funding a residential building in an urban community and things of that nature. The CDC side, we inject into the businesses in the community. But then we also have we also have Ventures Technology, which is like our own proprietary software, which is like a Salesforce platform. So it's just a tracking platform. So the company is Momentous Capital, and under Momentous Capital is CDC Small Business Finance, which helps small businesses directly. Then we have Capital Impact Partners, which is our CDFI, and then we have Ventures Technology also.
Awesome, thank you. Emil, so you have the Genesis Bank Institute for Entrepreneurship. You mentioned you're the president of the Genesis for Good Foundation as well. Can you talk about the GBIE a little bit? You can go anywhere you want, but certainly talk about the GBIE and what that is as a resource. I know a thing or two about it, and you don't need to know why, but it had a little bit to do with the inception of that. Emil?
Certainly. So a couple things. one thing that I think that really sets us apart, so we are, as a CDFI, but we are an MDI, so a minority depository institution. And essentially what that means, there are just under 4,700 banks in the US. There are about 147 that are MDIs. There are only 4 of us that are multiracial MDIs, and so we are one of 4 in America that are a multiracial minority depository institution. And what that really means is that we are set up by nature to super serve majority minority communities. And so our founder, Stephen Gordon, who previously founded Opus Bank, recognized that here in Southern California, particularly in Orange County and in the neighboring counties, there's a majority minority community no matter where you go, all throughout the region. And so rather than isolating into one demographic, we set out to serve all diverse businesses across the region, recognizing that oftentimes there's a traditional lack of access to the traditional banking system, right? So no one will tell you that they have a bank relationship. If you're a minority business owner, you generally don't have a business bank relationship. You have a bank where you deposit your money. But there's no one there at that bank generally that you think is waking up every day thinking about the success of your business. And so we tried to flip the model on its head and take a consultative approach. And so that's the GBIE, the Genesis Bank Institute for Entrepreneurship, and I have the pleasure of leading that. And the beauty of that is our signature program is to really sit with entrepreneurs, very similar to Iman's point. You know, that first meeting is, we just want to understand where you're at in your entrepreneurial journey. Everyone has a story. We want to understand what motivates you, why you started the business, what you're looking to do with the business, what impact you're trying to have. And then we rally the entire ecosystem, the entrepreneurial ecosystem. We bring resources and relationships and capital and all the things that oftentimes are missing from an entrepreneur's world. We try to bring that to bear at no cost to the entrepreneur. Because at the end of the day, for us, it's about seeing you win. Small statistic that most people don't understand, 70% of minority business owners have no employees. So let that sit with you for a second. When we talk about the wealth gap, part of that is because you have no employees, right? You're not generating enough money to feel empowered enough to take another person's livelihood under your wing, right? And so we try to address that by providing resources and relationships and obviously access to capital. And so the beauty of GBIE is we get to do that not just within the bank, but also through our partners. And we're familiar with CDC. We know Ellis Carr and the great work you all are doing. We work with many of the other large bank partners. And so just the whole ecosystem, anyone that's trying to help small businesses thrive is definitely a prospective partner of ours.
Awesome. Thank you, Emil. Erica, 20 years with Commercial Capital. Yeah, thank you very much.
Yeah.
Great job.
Only 20 years.
Only
in a
20. Just
couple
getting
years.
started, see
In a
if you like
couple
it.
weeks, it'll be 20 years. I
Nice.
know. I started when I was 8.
There you go. That's right. Yeah.
Well, we're all banks here, right? We all offer pretty much almost the same services, and we are looking for the same partners to bank with, right? But what makes us different? And a lot of the things are similar to each other. So it's kind of learning who do you connect with and building that relationship. We do the initial consultation with the business owners. We identified what is needed, right, from a perspective of lending all the way to services. But we don't stop there. My clients know me by name. They know my kids. I know their kids. And for the past 20 years, I still have clients from 20 years ago. So the pride that I have in the relationships that I've built so far has been a keystone to our success, and that's across from everyone in the bank. So our focus is to be there to help every stage of the way when it comes to your business decisions and your growth. What is your 5-year plan? What is your 10-year plan? What is your exit plan? Have you thought about that? So we're here for them, and we're here for anyone that is interested in a business account or a line of credit, loan. Talk to me. I'll be here.
You also have my favorite business card and email signature because you click on
Thank
it's a little
you.
video of her talking about what they do. And it's very personal. It's a nice touch. I like that a lot.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.
I have a few if you guys want some.
There you go. Right on. Paul, what about with
Yeah.
U.S. Bank?
Yeah, so the big banks over here on the
There you
side.
go. U.S. and Wells. We'll save the big ones for last. Yeah.
The two of us make up two of the largest banks there are out there. I don't know what place we're in, but I'm sure I think we're still fourth largest or fifth largest bank.
Yeah.
But anyway, Emil stole everything I was going to say. She then went ahead and stole the rest
All
of what I
right,
was
so
gonna
we have
say.
16 more minutes, and we have all this free time now. Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
but in all seriousness, I'll add this to that because I think that you guys can have a lot of confidence in knowing that we're all saying some very similar things. We all have some of the same similar resources. At the end of the day, my favorite thing to ask anybody that is an entrepreneur is, what is your banker's name? And it's so fun when they stop and pause for just a second to try to think about, well, who do I use at the bank? It's the girl Jenny down at the, she's my banker. Okay, we're in trouble if that's who your banker is. Jenny's great, I'm sure. But, is there somebody that you have as a trusted advisor that is your banker? Do you have someone work on your taxes, or do you have someone that's an advisor for you when it comes to tax planning? Do you have a friend who's a lawyer, or do you have someone that helps you and literally advises you on what to do in your business legally? One of the things that I pride myself on, I think that U.S. Bank, looks for when they hire people to work for them are relationship-oriented people that want to become an advisor, not just sell you a loan or a checking account or a credit card or merchant services. I have all that stuff, by the way, on a large scale or for the brand new business. I don't know what the stats are, but we like to give out business credit cards to people that are one day in business. So don't everyone please rush up to me for that after this.
You got a stack in your wallet? Yeah.
But I mean, I could sit up here for literally hours and talk to you about how we're working with entrepreneurs. But at the end of the day, if you're an entrepreneur and you're looking for a bank, find yourself a banker. Someone that you can pick up the phone and call that doesn't just say, okay, well, what can I get out of this? But rather, what can I advise you on? Maybe a better fit is for you to call my guy at Genesis Bank. Maybe a better fit is to do this at Wells Fargo. And I have to be able to have enough confidence, and my bank has enough confidence to let me say that without it being a controversy. Because in the old days, you never sent someone to Wells Fargo or to Genesis Bank. That was a no-no. Nowadays, it's all about what's best for the customer.
Right.
That's what U.S. Bank's all about today, powering their potential through what's best for them.
That's such a great point.
That's
And that's a
sounded
lesson for
pitchy
all
at
of
the
you to
end.
learn too in your industries. Collaborate with Jay talked about we don't compete, we complete, we collaborate. That's what the success we're all going to have is through collaboration, not through competition. That's some big fat guy that's standing at the podium right now, I think, maybe, I don't know. Yeah, sounds familiar to me, Jay. Tim, all right, Wells Fargo. Thank you again for that $25,000 grant to SBDN. We really appreciate that. Thank you so much. I know you wrote the check personally, right? Yeah.
Well, thank you, Paul, Erica, everyone else. Pretty much Wells Fargo Pin is similar to that, but we, on the business aspect, you have the stage. When you have a business, you have a stage from the growth, develop, you plateau, and you grow more, right? And same thing with the bank. We want to see you grow. We want to see, we have a program called Graduate. You start out in retail banking. When you start building your business up, you have a personal banker or business banker to help you. And then once you go to the certain stage, you get to maybe my level where I can manage you. That's where I cover $2 million to $25 million revenues businesses. That's where you don't longer go inside a bank anymore. You have the red carpet, white glove service that, because we know your business become growing and get more complex. So we do all the hard work for you. So you don't ever have to put a footstep into the branch. Then our job here to graduate you to the next level, which is the 25 to 75 to $100 million level. We call it EMM, or Emerging Middle Market. And their goal is to graduate you to middle market, which is $300 million. And after that, their goal is to graduate you into wholesale, which is $300 million above. That's where you go IPO. I'll share a story. 11 years ago, I helped a client he's been in business for less than 2 years, with a small line of credit that helped him propel to where he is now. He has $300 million revenue. You might have his product. If you buy yoga mats or dumbbell on Amazon, that's his. And that was, he started with very little. But as our job, we grow him and graduate him because we focus on you. Because the bank don't pay me, you pay us. If you grow, we grow, and together we all grow. And that's, the model has always been that way since 1852 to now.
Nice. Thank you, Tim. So as human beings, when we walk by and we look in a mirror, usually what we see right away are the things that we don't like, the mistakes we've made, and then we use that time in front of the mirror to fix something that is broken in our appearance. So when someone comes to you and they're broken, or they've made a mistake, or there's something that maybe is a common mistake that you see when a small business comes to you for funding or relationship or what have you, just anyone. You can, all five want to answer, that's great, but does anything come to mind for any of the five of you? Just common mistakes that you see when someone approaches you for the first time. Tim, you're grabbing the mic. I guess you get to go first.
Planning. Ben Franklin always say, you failed to plan, you plan to fail. And exactly what it is, if, say, I come to you, and ask you for $100,000, you were like, well, what do I have to give in return? How do I know you're not going to pay me back, right? Same thing with a bank. We look at the 5C, right? The credit, your character, the capacity, the collateral, and the conditions. We want to know how you are. And if your business, say, your money coming in, but you spend it all off, so you don't have the capacity to repay the debt, so how can you get the new debt, right? So the bank look at that. So that's all comes back to planning. If you plan how your business run, how you structure your business to be profitable, to show that the bank can be more confident to lend you money. People say they want to see it decline, they think the bank don't want to do business with them. That's false. We want your business. We actually here, we spend the money to earn your business. It's just that you're not the right fit yet. So that's how we're here. It's through financial literacy, to learning, to these panel, so we can kind of coach you, guide you to where you need to be.
So jot that down. Make sure you come in with a plan. Erica?
One of the things that I've noticed lately is that no matter how much advice sometimes you provide to a business client, in not only looking at your finances, but protection. There's so many services, extra services to protect you from fraud, right? And that's one of the biggest things that we've seen lately, is not trusting that we're there to protect you. We're not trying to sell you anything, we're trying to protect you. And unfortunately, because of the times that we're in, we've seen a huge spike in fraud. And as a small business, that's one of the worst things that you can go through, right? Loss through fraud. So we're there to advise you not only in how to grow your business, but how to protect your business. So taking that into consideration and not acting after you lost who knows how much is always the best thing to do.
Such a great comment. I have a thought on that, but Emil, go ahead.
So I think one thing, if we're looking at kind of recurring challenges that I think a lot of entrepreneurs face, I think for me it starts with empathy, right? I think allowing entrepreneurs the space to fail in the context of pursuing access to capital, right? Because I think we have to really demystify the process. I think a lot of times when entrepreneurs are sitting across from a banker or really any resource provider, they really don't know what the criteria is. They really don't understand how they're being evaluated, and they may feel like, I'm not ready to get access to capital, right? So a lot of folks don't even pursue certain opportunities because they're fearful that they're not ready for those bigger opportunities. And so I think when we take an approach that really centers that individual in the process and allows them to understand that I'm here to see you win regardless. You do the deal with us, you do the deal here, you do the deal there, doesn't matter because either way it's going to help your business. So to Paul and Tim's point, one thing I think we do, and that sounds like a lot of the banks do that's different, is that referral. Mm-hmm. Hey, the deal may not make sense for us, but let me send you to him on, and maybe it makes sense for them. Let me send you over to Tim, right? I mean, we work with a lot of the banks. I think demystifying the process is very important because we've created years of these imaginary rules about who can get access to capital and who's ready to get access to capital, and it really has created this fear, particularly among minority business owners, that they're not ready to pursue access to capital, and I think they're as ready as any entrepreneur.
Yeah, and you may think the bank isn't wanting to lend money, but we actually want you to be successful. And so we want to work with you and help you become successful. Even though it might not be today, we take some steps. And we've referred business to other banks too. It might not be a good fit for us, but it could be for Wells or US Bank. Go ahead, Paul.
You know, one of the things I make a suggestion every time I meet with an entrepreneur that's, you know, for sure, like usually ones that are starting up business or are relatively new in business, is I ask them the same question every single time, is how many banks have you sat in front of and had this conversation with? And what did you find out? And if I'm the first one, I highly recommend that after we're done, you find 2 other banks, go in there and have the same conversation. Because I'm going to say some things that may not sound that great. I might, you know, being at US Bank, obviously we're going to have a little bit more conservative outlook on credits to newer customers. But, you know, go find out what that looks like at every single bank. You've got a bunch of information, and then you might think to yourself, you know what? That was a little bit concerning, but this guy said this. Let me go back over there because I like what the future looks like with that bank. They may not be able to help me right now with this piece, but I can go over here to the guy that I met with third. He was happy with it. And if you're an entrepreneur, just be honest with your banker. Just tell him, hey, you're my second bank this week. I'm going to talk to 3 of them. They'll respect that. You know, we respect the competition. But that's one way you can really educate yourself on what's available to you. And then the last piece of this is, a lot of you guys that are starting a new in business, you're getting handed off if you've walked into a branch to a small business specialist. And if your business plan says you're going to do $5 million, you really should be talking to someone like myself or Tim. And even if we're not ready to have you, you're not graduated to us yet, you're not going to get as much information from that small business specialist as you would from us. And I know for sure at US Bank, again, doesn't matter what's in it for me, I'm there for our clients. So if the small business specialist says, hey, this guy's got a bunch of questions, he's trying to start a $5 million business, can you come in and just listen to what he has to say and let him know what we might be able to do for him in the future? The answer is always yes.
Iman?
Thank you.
And really quickly, as far as accessing capital, existing businesses or 2 years or greater, tax liability avoidance. You cannot write off all of your revenue and expect anyone to give you a loan. So,
Stop hiding the money.
Yeah, there you
tax
go.
liability avoidance.
Yeah, that's right. Show them the money. We have time for 2 questions, and then I want to give each of them a chance to kind of make a parting comment. Any questions from anybody out here? Okay, over here. Yes, stand up, tell us who you are.
Can I have some comment or no?
You got 30 seconds, go.
If you're a business for new business, please don't go to the big bank.
Thank you, sir.
We didn't script this.
Rather go to the small bank.
We'll take question now.
Thank you. And all the big banks, they don't have a good record for the minority.
All right, thank you, sir. Appreciate you very much. Thank you. Anybody have a question? All right, in the 4 minutes, each of you has about a minute. If you could just take, Iman, why don't we start with you? Just anything we didn't touch on that you'd like to make sure that we share, just hidden secrets, unconventional things that people may not know about?
Like everyone is stressed up here, I think relationship is extremely important. And regardless if you have that 5 million plan, you know, that's your revenue benchmark that you want to hit in your business plan, you still have to find somebody who believes in you and who can help you with your roadmap and things of that nature and refer you to different people that can provide technical assistance for free. So as far as business plan, projections, certifications, things of that nature, we've all heard how there's services out here to assist us. And probably everything that you need for your business at the entry point and even at some more advanced levels, you can find the technical assistance now for free. So please be leery and cautious of paying for these extra services that SBDC provides, SCORE provides, you know, different organizations, the city of Irvine, just different places provides different certification services. So just make sure you use them all and make sure your relationships will help guide you to the resources that you actually need. I'll be at the table if anybody needs any information. Like I stated, I love just having relationships and talking to people. 67% of our loans have actually been funded to startup businesses. So with that being said, I'll pass it off. And
Appreciate that. I've been on all the websites too, and the resources that are free for you on all of our websites, access that. That's why the key word to this is access. Who wants to go next? We don't have to go in any particular order. Well, Emil has the mic up, so I guess it's you. I guess we
So
are going in order.
I just, parting words. Being an entrepreneur is a lonely journey,
Yeah.
right? So take care of yourself, right? Prioritize, I'm not going to say work-life balance because I'm an entrepreneur, so I know that doesn't exist. But take care of yourself. It's not a sprint. It's definitely a marathon. Find your tribe. Really prioritize connecting with the entrepreneurial ecosystem. There's a growing ecosystem here in Orange County. Tap into it. Tap into organizations like SBDN because it changes that journey. Because you'll have other entrepreneurs that are at different stages of that journey that you're on, and you guys can share, insights and overcome challenges together. So definitely don't go it alone. And then the last thing is get over the fear, because there's opportunity on the other end of that fear that's waiting for you, and don't let fear be the reason that you miss out on a great opportunity.
Thanks, Emil.
That was really good. That was a good message. I just wanted to say that, like he said, you don't want to go in it alone, right? Because you already are alone through the process while you are going through the process of growing your business. We take on anyone that just literally set up their legal documentation as a business owner. So we open accounts for any business. And they don't have to be at a certain level to get the right treatment and the full 100% service. So if you need a partner, I'm here, and I would love to connect with anyone that is interested in knowing more about Commercial Bank. Thank you.
Paul?
I always tell this story every time they ask me to speak on these panels or speak at the podium. I owned a business about 2006, 2007. And there was a guy that used to come to my office every single month and try to sell me a $500,000 line of credit. And I used to throw him out of my office every single time. Get out of my office. Quit coming here, right? Well, it turns out that business didn't go so well. And I all of a sudden needed some capital. And I called that guy, and he just laughed. He laughed, literally laughed. I kind of started laughing with him because I was thinking, you know what? I should have taken that $500,000.
Yeah, right when I needed it, yeah. Or
when I didn't need it. And so the moral of that story is, don't be afraid to take on a line of credit, even if you don't need to use it right now. You never know. I don't know if that $500,000 line of credit would have saved my business back then, because I was in the mortgage industry and that was a disaster. So I don't know if I would have made it, or if that would have helped me, or if it would have just dug a deeper hole. But having failed in business has been my biggest asset. And now working with people that are trying to start businesses, I can tell you every single thing that I did wrong that led me to fail. It wasn't because the industry had problems. It was because I was a terrible business owner, honestly. And so I can spot them, by the way. If you want to know anything about a business owner that's terrible, I can tell you what that's like. But I can also tell you what makes them successful. And what makes them successful is surrounding themselves with people like the people that are in this room. Join, I wasn't paid to say this, join this, get a membership to one of these groups, to any of these chambers. Start hanging out with people that are successfully starting businesses and growing them. And then you'll find out who to talk to. Thanks for having me, by the way.
You bet. Thanks, Paul. Tim? The second to last word, because I reserve the right to have the last word since I'm standing here on a bad knee heading for surgery. So,
I'm going to reiterate planning. All of these, fine gentlemen and women here, hit hard to home is planning. When you fail to plan, you literally plan to fail, kind of thing. To Paul example, no one knows your business as good as you do. No one knows how to run your business but you. No one has the crystal ball, right? Whether you're a bakery or your manufacturer. I'll give you an example of probably a few months ago back in the Bay Area, they have a bakery, right? Tesla put an order in, they canceled the order, right? She made a headline. But then now everyone comes in supporting her, but she doesn't have the capacity, the capital to fulfill that. See, you don't have to, so like Paul say, don't be afraid to get a line of credit. You never know when there's needs to come. When it comes hard, you gotta have the capacity to fulfill that. If you're a manufacturer, you did that certification, And if there's, say, Disney who comes in, hey, I want to buy $1 million or 100,000 of this item, how you going to fund that? How you manufacture that? Right? Now that you get certified, these big companies come in, they're not going to order one item, 10 item, 100 item. They're going to order 1,000. They're not going to pay you in 30 days. They're going to pay you 60 days and 90 days. You got employees to pay, you got manufacture, you have raw material, you have all of this. It's all come down to planning. You have to plan. You have to plan and you have to be financially strong so the bank can finance you. And to this gentleman over here, you're right. You can go to a small bank, they'll fund you, but there's a risk. They'll fund you, but they'll charge you more, probably 10, 15% interest. Bigger bank, we may not fund you, but we charge you less. It's kind of like give and take, right?
Yeah. Thanks, Tim. So one thing I know about the 6 of us up here, yeah, I'm going to jump in before we have a rebuttal again. Okay? I know how to work a meeting. I've done this once or twice. The 6 of us will meet with you. Reach out to any one of us. We will take a meeting. We will sit down with you, but we will not only meet with you. What I know about these 5 up here and myself as well is we will stay with you until you get the resource you need, even if it isn't us. I think I can see you all nodding your head. You have expertise, access, experience up here on this panel, on this stage, and we want you to succeed. When you succeed, it's the power of us. I mean, all of us, when one person succeeds, we all succeed. My buddy Bob back here, he talked earlier about this wine. Okay, yeah, I like wine, but I want Bob to succeed not because I just like wine, which I do, and I love his wine, but I want him to succeed because he's a good person. He has a great heart. He is a great entrepreneur. He can serve people, and that's each of you in this room. I probably know a lot of you, and you would do the same. If someone approached you for expertise, you'd see it all the way through until they get their answer, just like us as well. Don't look at us as an evil empire, big bank, small bank, only trying to get your money, because that's not it. We want people to succeed in business and in life. So thank you all. Thank you, panelists. Appreciate you very much. Appreciate all of you today. Is it okay?